this year's annual EDS and HSD Awareness Month videos. I'm so pleased to have put together this amazing dazzle of zebras from all across the world with different types of EDS who can't wait to share their story with you. Today we're going to be talking about useful tips, tricks, hacks, things that we use to help us manage our symptoms of ehlers-danlos syndrome or hypermobile spectrum disorder.
The product that I find most helpful in dealing with the pain is heat packs. I use them all the time, and I recently had these finger splints made. So these help me so much at my work. They stop my fingers hyperextending at this joint, so it makes typing so much easier. I would highly recommend these.
So one thing that I use to really help me is my dog. I know this sounds really weird, but I think having my little dog there to cuddle and love, it just makes such a big difference to my mental health, especially on days when my pain's really bad. It's really important, I think, to appreciate our little furry friends because they can make such a difference to our lives. And I'm so grateful I have little Gizmo.
TENS unit, heating pads, and my dog. My dog is my life, and she is a medical alert dog. But that helps. That's a tool that is definitely tries to help with my symptoms. The heating pad and TENS unit I use a lot on my like stomach and then my neck because I sublux back there really bad and will have horrid migraines. Horrid. But those are the kind of like knick-knack things that I have learned to love and go to when I'm in a flare.
It would be ice and heating packs. So I use ice packs on my joints and my head, and pretty often I use ice packs every single night for my head. If I lay down and on the back of my skull and don't have an ice pack, I immediately have pressure and pain, even if I'm not asleep. And then heating packs I use for muscle pain. So I use really heavy rice packs to give compression while also giving heat, and it just totally gives relief to my entire muscle area.
My first hack is this ergonomic knife. It has been an absolute lifesaver for chopping and food preparing when I've been living on my own. I actually left it at uni over the Easter break and didn't have it at home and had to get other people to chop for me. It was just a nightmare without it, so I highly recommend this ergonomic knife. It just means that you do this action rather than, I can't even think how you hold a normal knife now. It just makes life so much easier on your hand joints. And yeah, I struggle living without it. It's been really good. I talk about it in vlogs all the time, so you've probably already heard of that one. So I have a second little hack, which is this little knee pillow. I am a major fidgeter in my sleep. I think that's an EDS thing, I don't know where it comes from. But I've had a lot of us have kind of strange nighttime movements. That's how you wake up with like sub-back shoulders, isn't it? But anyway, ever since I used to do sleepovers as a kid, like my friend Nicole used to always go on about how much of a fidget I was. But anyway, I find that having a pillow between my knees really helps me get comfortable. But because I'm such a fidget, these pillows would end up all across the room, like the other side of the room. So the fact that this one straps perfectly to your knee and stays there is amazing and means you can get in a comfortable position to go to sleep that little bit more easily. Though I do want to find a little ankle size one because I feel like the ankle needs kind of that little bit of support too, but we're working on it.
One hack that I use for my EDS is my adjustable bed.
So for me, a very important hack or tool in everyday life would be my Fitbit. It helps me in everyday life to pace myself, which means that you keep track of how much energy you spend and that you really know your limits. And because with this disease, it can be so hard to really figure out how much you can do without any repercussions, because maybe one day you feel fit and you do so much, and then the next day or the next couple of days you lie in bed with pain, unable to do anything. And I'm learning to avoid these situations by keeping track of how much is viable for me. And so with my Fitbit, I can really look at my steps, look how much I slept, and like that kind of have an overview on my activity, and maybe also can plan my spoons a bit better.
Product or hack that I use for my symptoms, it's definitely my hot water bottle. I've got this new electric one, so it stops me having to lift the kettle, which is a bit difficult on my hands and things will pop out. So that stops me getting burnt, which is always a good thing. And it just means that if I go to lectures for 3 hours, you know, there's always a plug socket. I can just hook it up, and it's good to go within like 10-15 minutes. And heat, I find, really, really helps with my muscles. You know, if I've had a subluxation or dislocation, just to kind of calm the muscle back down and kind of let it just pop in and do what it wants. And I'm very rarely without my hot water bottle, whether it's on my hips, my back, like it is now, on my jaw, anywhere. Definitely the number one thing that I find really helpful is heat.
One thing that I use to help with symptoms is joint braces and tape. I use these to help with joint instability, subluxations, dislocations, and joint pain. I mainly use them for my shoulders, my hips, knees, and my hands, but they're very useful for any joints in my body that might be giving me a problem.
As far as a hack goes, what better hack is there that is capable of helping your EDS than your own body? It's that simple. Your own body that betrays you is your own body that could help you. Now, there's a few simple stretches that you could do that could help immensely with pain, especially if you have lower back pain, lumbar type pain. And these stretches will do wonders. I learned them in my PT, which went for about a year. But if I could say one thing that turned my life around, it would be stretches. These stretches are amazing. They have done great things for me at least, and I would love to make sure that other people would know them, or at least go and get a good PT that can show them the stretches that are right for them. Other than that, again, air, breathe, water. It's really simple stuff. It's not complicated. The easiest and best things that I found for me are myself and within my grasp, air, water, and even probiotics. Probiotics have been helping me great with the GERD. So the symptoms, each one of them, you could find a little something that might help a bit.
A product I use to help symptoms is heat and ice packs to ease pain after dislocations.
So I've got a couple of handy gizmos and gadgets that I find to really help my symptoms. The first of which is this lovely brace that I'm sporting here. So this is my Armotrain. It's a soft brace. The links around the front and the back, and goes both ways, so I can switch to the other arm. And this just gives a little bit of support to my shoulder without relying on it as a hard brace. My next one is a hard brace. It's my ring overlate, I think it's called. And this is great for my witch finger when I'm eating, and just stops me from bending that right back. Thirdly is my favourite, is my clock, my alarm clock, which you can't really see, but basically this has a light built in. I'll just show it on my face there. And what this allows me to do is wake up to light that comes in gradually in the mornings to really help with my fatigue levels, so that's really handy as well.
The biggest thing that helps me with my pain, because I can't take pain meds, is heating pads and ice packs. For nausea, I usually do peppermint or ginger.
For people with EDS, the big thing about hacks that I really want them to know is that there's always ways to make things work if you just keep trying to find ways. For me, I really like participating in adaptive sports, and I've had to find new and different ways to downhill ski and climb to keep doing the things that I love. So I use outriggers to ski, and I use forearm crutches when I'm hiking to get places to climb.
One hack I would tell all other EDSers is to find something that you love and are passionate about, something not too strenuous. And like I've got art, and whenever you are having a rough time or you need to take a break, go somewhere with someone else if you want, and do something that you love. And although it won't take any pain away, it should make you feel better in yourself.
A product that has recently really made my EDS life easier is my Amazon Echo. It can help me by controlling lights, my fans, it can control my thermostat. It plays soothing things to help me fall asleep at night that have really helped with my insomnia. And I can also have just easy access to things like podcasts and audiobooks and just so many other things. There's actually games on it that I play with my kids that are so low energy for me that they still feel like I'm playing with them. I feel like I'm playing with them, but I'm not having to waste spoons or energy, whichever way you want to look at it. It's really become a great product and a huge help in my house. I really recommend having something like that.
A product or hack that I use to help with my symptoms of my EDS would definitely have to be my wheelchair. One of my biggest symptoms is that I fall a lot, my ankles give out and dislocate, my knees dislocate, and so before we realized that I had EDS, I was just always getting injured. I have had a history of sprains and tears since I was a young kid, and so going places where I had to walk long distances became not only dangerous but extremely painful for me. I wasn't able to go to the museum or the zoo or any of those kinds of things. I even stopped going to the mall as a teenager because I had so much pain just from walking for that long. And now I know that that's because my muscles were trying to help stabilize my joints and they were working harder than they should be because of my EDS. But back then, when I wasn't diagnosed, I had no idea what was wrong. And so something good that my diagnosis brought me definitely was, you know, the freedom and the acceptance to understand that it was okay for me to need a wheelchair and that it wasn't something that I was doing wrong. That's just how my body was, and that it was okay to use that kind of mobility device if I needed it, and that there was nothing wrong with that.
So my favourite non-medicinal hack is definitely heat. I like heat packs and hot water bottles and everything heat, all the heat.
My favourite hack, as well as heat, especially my heated mattress topper, is this thing, and it's the long shoehorn, and it's one of the most amazing inventions ever. And if you haven't, you think it's not going to be that great, but it is so great.
It's amazing
because it's just amazing. You don't dislocate your fingers getting your shoes on, which is just the start.
And you don't have to bend down and then stand up and pass out.
How I manage my symptoms is I ice and elevate. I use athletic tape to hold in my joints from my shoulders all the way down. It helps give me stability. I take baths as well, so I do natural remedies of ways to relieve pain because this is chronic and it's on a daily basis.
My hacks that I do, or a couple of them I should say, is if I'm cooking in the kitchen for a long time, I usually put a stool in there so I can sit and still be able to cook. Or if I am putting on makeup or doing my hair, I like to sit down, otherwise it's too exhausting to stand and do it all. Another hack that I live by is wearing compression socks, compression sleeves, compression pants, leggings, and of course they aren't complete or work well unless they have cat hair on them. But these save my calves because my calves always hurt by walking, sometimes just waking up in the morning. So these are a godsend. Could not live without compression gear. And my cats. My cats are one of my biggest life hacks to help with my emotional happiness. So being home more often, my cats help me survive this painful life.
The product hack I have is basically I have a little trash can on the side of my bed. Reason why is because I am very severely affected GI-wise, so I never know if I have to wake up in the middle of the night and my stomach coming out. Or my stomach contents, I should say. And it's also very helpful if you have like medication and so on and so forth. It's like a little, so you can like toss your trash away right there, and then you don't have to get up and walk too far, say into like the kitchen or something. It's really helpful.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have found a little tip, trick, hack to help you manage your EDS symptoms. If you've got one that you haven't seen in this video, please make sure you post it in the comments so that we can share it with the world. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. See you soon.